A couple of years ago, Pastor Steve Brackett, who is pastor at St. Paul in Postville, addressed our Synod Assembly. Steve's previous careers included social worker and counselor, and so he knows a lot about healthy relationships. He also served a congregation that had been severely damaged in the relationship between the congregation and my office. The briefest way to describe it is to say the three previous pastors to Steve are no longer on the roster of the church. And so he knew that the first step towards healing and health for the congregation was to reconnect with the Synod ministries. He knew from his counseling background that isolated families soon become very troubled, just like isolated individuals can become very troubled when they have no relationships beyond themselves. And so he began the difficult and delicate work of relationship building for the congregation's sake, for the Synod's sake, and for the sake of the mission of Jesus Christ. Well, I'm sure you know where I'm going with this, and why we are so grateful for the ministry of Pastor Arnold Flater. And I know that you are too. For rebuilding the relationship between your congregation and the ministries of the Synod means that we are all healthier and Christ is made known in powerful ways. And that's why there are others who are grateful, not simply you and not simply me. There are others who are grateful, and they are the ones who have been touched by the good news of Jesus Christ because we decided to once again do mission together. Pastor Flater and a member of my staff, Mark Anderson, have gently led me into a new era of communicating the gospel by using current technology, and it's been a gradual process. But I want to give two examples about why this important work is being done in your congregation and now through Synod ministries as well as Synod assemblies. The examples are not to say how great I am, but to say how the technology that Arnold has taught me is making the proclamation of the gospel more effective. We are having these confirmation festivals around our Synod. All the congregations bring their confirmation students to one evening of Bible study, small group activities, and worship. But of course it begins with walking tacos. It has to. It seems to be the way. And so on the way home, one seventh grader told her pastor, you know, that bishop gave a pretty good sermon. He said, what did you like about it? Well, he spoke to us. Well, what do you mean? Well, he used a PowerPoint to help us to see what we were hearing. And I thought, that's a pretty good insight. Pastor Flater also gives the Synod a great deal of work in preparation for the Synod Assembly. He helps me with PowerPoint and video clips for my sermon and report, and then it's posted on Facebook. And I've had to learn to become comfortable with all of that. But this last year, 450 people heard the sermon on Friday night. And throughout the rest of the next week, over 1,800 people heard that same sermon because it had been posted. Luther used the printing press. We need to continue to grow in our use of the new ways of communicating the gospel. So thank you, Pastor, for your commitment to the gospel of Jesus Christ as demonstrated in a ministry of healing relationships, living a mission-focused life, and communicating the gospel, all for the sake of Christ's mission.